Hi fiber friends, welcome or welcome back to Orange Blossom Knits. My name's Katie, I'm a Florida-based knitter who lives in Tampa with my dog Sia. So it's episode 2. I want to start by saying thank you for all the lovely comments I got. I was for sure that the only people who were going to see this were like my 3 real life fiber friends, but I got some really lovely comments about local yarn stores, about yarn varieties to try. I really appreciated it, and every comment made me so happy that there are people out there who are interested in what I have to say. I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I posted the first episode, but I'm trying to do like a monthly style, like catch up, check in kind of thing. And I just happened to get the January one up very late. But we're gonna try and get the February one up in a more meaningful time. Meaningful? That's not the right word, but more timely. We're gonna try and be more timely with the February one. So let's start with my first finished object. You guys, I finished my salty air tea. So excited. I think this turned out so good. This is the Salty Air Tea by Samantha Guerin. I'm still not sure if I'm saying her name correctly. It is knit in LeRoo Cotton, 100% tensile in the Hollow Bastion colorway from the Kingdom Hearts collection. If you saw the first episode, you will remember that I was knitting this on very small needles, and I was worried. So the lace was like very crunched up. I was very worried that it wasn't gonna fit, that the lace wasn't gonna like open up and lay flat because of the tencel and it's not wool. It turned out great. I did full wet block this. There was a lot online about like just steam blocking the tencel yarn, but I don't know how to do that. And my iron that I use for my clothes is like a half steam iron, half like hair flat iron. It's this like clampy, you like clamp it on the fabric and pull it down. And so I didn't want to do that. And so I just full wet blocked this. And it actually turned out great. The lace opened up amazingly. Let me change how I'm holding this so you can maybe see it better. You can see like how great the lace looks. And then I'm a bad content creator. I should have taken a video of this before I blocked it, but I was all ready to come on and be like, I don't know that I would work with the tencel again because it made the fabric, like the stockinette, in the stockinette section, like not even. Because before I blocked it, the stitches it looked like the tension was all over the place. But once it got blocked out, it's like really flat and even. This turned out so good. I'm so thrilled with this. I haven't gotten a chance to wear it, but I'm going to Kennedy Space Center next weekend, so maybe I will wear it there. I don't know. Usually when I go to like Disney or the Space Center or something like that, I carry a backpack and I'm worried that like wearing a backpack would like damage it, so we'll see. I knit this in the size 3. For reference, my bust measurement is 39.5. This does not have I do not have the positive ease recommended in the pattern. I don't like a lot of positive ease in my garments. This, I maybe have 1.5 inches or 2 inches, which is all of the positive ease I need. I don't really like oversized stuff. This sweater aside. I lost my train of thoughts. Oh, size 3, based on that, I have about 2 inches of positive ease. I did get the same gauge. I don't know if I got the stitch gauge. I don't know if I got the row gauge because it's supposed to be cropped and I wanted it longer anyway, so I planned for that. The only other adjustment other than making it longer, because I don't like things that are cropped, was in the sleeves. I did knit the sleeve to pattern the first time and it was too tight. Like I could get it on, but it was like, I felt like that Chris Farley big man in a little coat in the sleeves. So I ripped it out and went back and I picked up extra stitches. I want to say I picked up like 4 extra stitches and then just didn't do the decreases. So to the pattern, you pick up stitches, do some decreases, knit a couple rows, do your ribbing. Is that too much information to give about a paid pattern? Not sure what the ethics of that are. somebody let me know. But I just picked up extra stitches and didn't do the decreases, and now this sleeves fit great. The other change that I made was to the hem. I'm pretty sure the pattern called for ribbing at the hem, but I don't actually, the only thing I don't love the way this yarn behaved was the ribbing. The ribbing did not like come back together. You can kind of see, I mean, obviously this is the inside, but it looks the same on both sides. You can kind of see that like it's stretched out, like the knits and the pearls are stretched out, and it didn't like close back up and be like nice even ribbing. So I didn't want to do more ribbing, so I just did like a folded hem. I did a row of pearls and then a few more rows of knits. I think I did 4 so that I would have an even number, and then I bound off, and then I just sewed it down on the inside. It's not the most even because this is the first time I've done that. I do wish I had maybe done some additional rows so I had a longer sewn down edge. I think this looks a little, not unfinished, but definitely like home finished. But when I have it on, you don't really notice it. This is long enough that if I wear like a high-ish waisted kind of pair of shorts, that I can tuck it in and then you don't see the hem anyway. So Salty Air Tee. I'm really pleased with this. When I eventually wear it, I will try and take some pictures so I can, maybe in my March video, I can show you how it wears. So that's my only finished object. It was also my work in progress for most of February. I just bound it off like a couple of days ago. My other whip, of course, is my mess of a yarn vomit over here. It's my half and half wrap. I'm still working on my half and half wrap. I didn't work on this as diligently as I had been. Like, I worked on this a lot in January because it was my meeting knitting. So when I was in the lace chart on the Salty Air, that's not good, like for me at least, not good meeting knitting. What is going on here? Not good meeting knitting or like knitting with friends or out and about, because in the lace chart I had to pay attention and count the stitches and make sure I was, you know, following the chart, versus with this, it's just back and forth garter stitch. So I knit a lot on it in January. But when I got to the stockinette section of the Salty Air, I worked really diligently on that because I wanted to get it finished. I'm looking for the progress marker. Oh, there it is. It's on the inside. I do have a progress marker in here, so you can see like how much I actually got done in February. I moved it at the beginning of the month, so you can see like I had a couple inches. But yeah, still working on this. I started a new whip, and so this is back to being my like going places knitting. My going places, meetings, going to meetings, that kind of thing, knitting where I want to keep my hands busy, but I need my mind free. So that's my half and half wrap. This will literally take me all year. My goal is to finish this by the end of 2023. So that is one thing that I'm working on. The other thing, the work in progress that I just started, is my Moonset Tee by Ozetta. So this is the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. I will put a picture of the finished, what it's supposed to look like up here. I am knitting this in the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the colorway Strawberry Ice Cream, Strawberry Sorbet, Strawberry some kind of frozen dessert. I did get this at a local-ish to me yarn store called A Good Yarn, which is a great name for a yarn store. It would actually be a great name for a yarn store / bookstore, because like, tell me a yarn, a good yarn. Anyway, Knitting for Olive, Cotton Merino, Strawberry, I'm gonna go with Strawberry Ice Cream. And this is going to be the Moonset Tee. I'm just following the pattern one section at a time. So this is the cast on edge. I'm pretty sure this is the back of the neck. You cast it on, work some short rows. Now it's stockinette flat, which I'm not super a fan of, but we soldier on. I did make myself this sort of MacGyvered stitch row counter because there's like a number you have to get to in the pattern, and I knew that I would lose that, so it's just 10 stitch markers looped together, and I use it to count my rows. I am hoping to get this finished before I go to Hawaii. There are, I think, 26 days before my trip, so I would need to have it finished in like 24 days, 25 days, so I have enough time to block it before I go. That seems ambitious, but we'll see what happens. Moonset Tea by Ozetta. Please tell me I'm recording. Okay, yes. I wanted to make sure that I was still recording. This is the second time I recorded this one because I apparently had too much caffeine when I filmed this yesterday, and I was like bouncing around like a ping pong ball. But also I had some technical difficulties and the camera kept turning off, so I was just checking. Okay, acquisitions. I only have one skein of yarn, and it's not just that I bought things that were pre-orders and they're not here yet. I only bought one skein of yarn in February, and it is from Fangirl Fibers. This is my first skein of yarn from Fangirl Fibers. I joined the Disney Attraction Yarn of the Month Club, and the first one came. This is actually the January colorway, but of course it came in February, and it is the Small World. It is the It's a Small World colorway. Y'all, I love It's a Small World an unreasonable amount. I worked in Fantasyland when I worked at Disney. I have been going to Disney for basically my whole life, and I love Small World. I am the Buddy the Elf of loving It's a Small World. So I was so excited that it was the first colorway, and it's so fun. It has so many, like, they're pastel, but they're bright. It's like, I want to say muted highlighter. But there, you can kind of see there's pink and orange and teal. There was a spot, I think, where there was some purple. I can't find it now. I'm not even sure. Hopefully that wasn't too close to the camera and it was in focus. But yeah, I love this a lot. I only got one skein. You do have the opportunity of going back in and buying more. As much as I love this, I'm not sure it's something that I would wear a whole garment out of. So I've seen some cute hair bow patterns, which I think would be fun for wearing to Disney, or possibly I could make it into scrunchies, and then I could share them like among my friends and my nieces, so we all have like matching Small World like hair bows or scrunchies. I also could use it for color work in a pattern that only called for 400 meters of yarn for the color work. 400 yards, sorry. Meters, yards. You guys know how much is in a 100-gram skein. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but I do really enjoy it. So that was my only acquisition. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about today was my 2023 knitting plans. And I realized that most people talked about this in January, but I did not. So we're going to talk about it now. I made a make 9 in my bullet journal. You can see it. I'm sure it's backwards for you. But you can see it. The other side is a list of projects that I'm interested in doing, and if I have the yarn, and where the yarn came from, and how many skeins, and all that kind of thing. But make 9 is the primary projects that I am going to be working on. And if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes about all my projects. So all of these projects were picked to grow my skills, learn something new, and just kind of stretch the boundaries of my knitting. So the first project, oh good, the yarn's not all the way on the bottom of the stack, is a pair of socks. So I am going to knit the Hermione's Everyday Socks, and I'm going to put pictures of like the other people, the finished objects from Ravelry, like the pattern pictures, and the names of the designers, because I don't remember all of the designers' names off the top of my head. Some of them I will, because they're like very popular. Some of them but I'll put the pictures and everybody's name up here. Anyway, Hermione's Everyday Socks. I'm gonna knit it in Explore Knits and Fibers Denali sock. This is from their Ice Cream Social Color collection from last summer. First of all, how cute is the ice cream yarn label. I love it. This is the colorway Extra Sprinkles, and the contrast color is Freezy Pop. And I just loved this. I'm gonna try and get it close and in focus. Hopefully that's in focus. And you can see all of just all the different colors. There's orange and pink and purple and the teal that is in Freezy Pop. And I think there's some yellow in there. I like this a lot. But when it came out, I loved this immediately, but I wasn't sure that I would wear a whole garment out of it. I'm trying to, as beautiful, brilliant artistic dyers put out yarn, I'm trying to kind of match my own, figure out what my own sort of knitting style is, and find the line between what I love from an artistic sense and what speaks to me like in an artistic sense, and what will actually be usable in my wardrobe. So in addition to, I don't need 900 worsted weight sweaters because Florida, it's February, it's March, sorry, excuse me. It's March, it's 90 degrees today. So in addition to not needing 9 million worsted weight sweaters, I'm not sure that like high color speckles or high variegation, like for a whole garment, is my jam. So I'm gonna knit my first pair of socks. I don't know that I'm gonna be a sock knitter. I don't love small circumference knitting. I don't love sleeves. But before I can say I'm not a sock knitter, we're gonna knit a pair of socks. And could I just do a pair of vanilla socks? Absolutely. Did I choose something that had a pattern to make my life harder? Also, yes. So that's the first project. The second project I talked a little bit about in the first episode is going to be the outline tank by Jessie Maed Designs. I'm going to knit it in this Sorella yarn silky sock. You guys, look how drapey this yarn is. This is gonna be so pretty knit up, and it's gonna have so much drape. This is the Epcot colorway from her Disney World collection. I got it as part of the first, I think she's calling them playlists, like of her greatest hits. It's like an anniversary year for her, 10 or 15 years. And so they're re-releasing a bunch of like previously favorited colorways. And this was in the first group. I really love this. It speaks to me. Purple is my favorite color. And there are like many varieties of like purple speckles in there. So outline tank. The next thing on my list is the Lizzie sweater. So the choice for this sweater was inspired by the Alley sweater. So this is LeRoo Cotton. This is their 100% cotton, the organic fingering in Shadowed and King's Fool, both of which are from the Kingdom Hearts collection. Someone, I don't remember who, right before this yarn went on sale, knit an Alley sweater with this is the main color and this is the color work. It was absolutely stunning. But I remembered watching a video from Our Knits and Pearls when she talked about her test of the Alley sweater, saying that she didn't know that for a beginner knitter that the Alley sweater was like a great first color work project because you have to do the increases in the color work pattern. And so for my first color work outing, I wanted to choose something that was maybe a little easier. So I'm gonna knit the Lizzie sweater. Put a picture up here. It's a crop sweater. I obviously will knit it to full-ish length, although I probably will keep the 3/4 sleeve. But I just thought these colors were really pretty. One of my fiber friends, one of my real life fiber friends is knitting. We're gonna knit like fraternal twin sweaters. Fraternal twins are the ones who don't match. Who aren't identical. We're knitting non-identical twin sweaters. So we're using the same yarn, but different colors. She's gonna knit the Alley sweater. I'm gonna knit the Lizzie sweater. They have a sort of similar vibe because they both have a sort of triangle-y design, but they're not exactly the same. So similar vibe, same yarn, not the same sweater. But speaking of the Alley sweater, I have yarn for the Alley tee. I am going to knit the short sleeve version, which puts the color work at the bottom of the sweater. So I thought that was kind of fun. You still get to do that same beautiful color work, that geometric color work, but it's at the bottom. I'm going to do it like in a pretty low contrast pairing. This is Explore Knits and Fibers, Rocky's DK, in Woodruff and Fia from her Ireland collection. I bought so much yarn from this collection, even though I had only been knitting for like 6 months, because all of the colors were actually stunning. But Woodruff and Fia, and I'm gonna make the Allie's tee. So that's the 2 color work projects that I'm gonna do this year. I did the sea glass sweater. I did sea glass sweaters for my nephews for Christmas last year. So they're not my first color work projects, but that's a 1x1 color work pattern. So you don't have to worry as much about like carrying floats and all that kind of stuff. These will be my first like real like carrying floats, picking up floats kind of color work sweaters. And I'm excited about both of them. Okay, also on my list is my moonset tee, which you saw in my whips, because I've already started on this. I feel like I'm making good progress on this list of 9 projects because 1 of them is done and 2 of them are on the needles. So that was the next one on the list, was the moonset tee, which we already saw. And then the 5th one is the Cargill sweater, which I talked about extensively in my last video, so I'm only going to talk about it briefly here. I'm going to knit the Cargill sweater in Explore Knits and Fibers, Celtic, also from Ireland. There's random white fluff in my yarn. And knitting for Olive, one of the navy-ish colorways in the soft silk mohair. I haven't ordered it yet. In my last video, I talked about how I was going to take this as my project for my trip to Hawaii at the end of the month, because I was going to have a lot of plane time. That way it would be done for my trip to Scotland, which was supposed to be over Memorial Day weekend, the end of May. However, we're not going to Scotland anymore because the plane tickets were very expensive. Very expensive. For a trip that was only going to be about 5 days. So we're looking for a domestic destination. So this project's probably going to get pushed back till later in the fall, maybe over the summer, because there are things that I want to get done prior to Flock Fiber Festival. But Cargill sweater, Explore Knits and Fibers, Celtic, knitting for Olive, some kind of navy before the end of the year. Okay, the 6th thing is my half and half wrap, which you guys have already seen. But I did pull, I don't think I had this yarn out when I talked about the half and half in January. So this is attached to something in the bottom. So the other half of the triangle, the other half is going to be in, also in Explore Knits and Fibers. I promise I do own yarn, more yarn than just Explore Knits and Fibers, but I bought a lot from this collection. This is also from the Ireland collection. This is Killarney National Park, and it is this like gorgeous pink and green. There's like some sort of grayish greens, some brighter greens, variegated, and I just thought it looked so pretty. Okay, this is all I can get of this right now. With this is the peony pink from Purl Soho, and they look so pretty together. They're so pretty. So I only have 2 skeins of this. I'm a little worried that I'm going to be playing yarn chicken with this Killarney National Park because I only bought 2 skeins of this, and I cast on for the half and half, kind of between the medium and the small and the large sizes. So we'll see. I did mention I'm going to Flock, so maybe I'll get lucky and they'll have this there and I can pick up an extra skein so I won't have to play yarn chicken. But I'm not pinning my hopes on that. If I end up with not enough yarn, I will figure it out. Okay, next up, cables. I want to do a cable project. So I started knitting, seriously knitting, just about a year ago, probably sometime in March of last year. And I had been thinking about it for a while before then, and what got me thinking about it was I bought a cabled blanket at Joann's at Christmas time. It was this like really pretty burgundy red cabled blanket, and when I opened it up, when I got it all open, there was like a big like hole in the middle of it, but I had already like opened it all up and I didn't want to deal with the hassle of taking it back. And I was like, you know, I could learn to knit this. I could learn to knit a cable blanket. So I'm still in the process of frogging the blanket, but the yarn's upstairs. but I figured before I undertake a whole blanket, I should learn how to cable on a smaller project. So I am going to make a project called the Celtic Myth Shawl, and I am going to make it in like kind of as a fade. It's a half circle shawl with a cable, like a cable pattern at the bottom, like around the outside. So we'll see how that ends up being functionally with the fade, but it's a gift from my mom. She's not watching this, but hi Mom. It has been pushed back because I was gonna make it for her for Christmas, but then my nephew's sweaters took longer than I thought they would, and then I was like, oh, I can make it for Mother's Day. I could still make it for Mother's Day. That's not until May. We'll see. Maybe I'll make it for Mother's Day. Her birthday is also in October, so that gives me plenty of time. I could start it later in the summer. But this is the fade that I'm going to do. This is Winter Hearth from Explore Knits and Fibers. These are both Woolberry yarns from their, I don't remember what it was called, like her beach theme collection. This is Coastal and this one is Cliff. So I thought these all looked really pretty together. And my mom's favorite color is green. So cables, so that's the only cable project. We talked about the Alley Sea. We talked about the Salty Air Tea as my finished object. So yeah, I feel like I'm making pretty good progress on this list. The other two projects that I am definitely going, I guess there are three. Two that I'm definitely going to do, one that I would like to do. Yeah, the other three projects that are on my Things to Knit in 2023 list are the Underlace top by Lily Kate France. I'm not sure which one she goes by. I'll have to look at it on Instagram. I'm gonna knit that. I'm doing it as a buddy knit with my friend Erica for Flock Fiber Festival. I'm going to do it in the Magpie Fibers Swanky Sock. This is their MCN base in the colorway Empty Night. It's a really pretty, like, variegated navy with some purple and some kind of gray in there. And then the main color is going to be Madeline Tosh. I think the colorway I chose is called Paper. It's like a creamy neutral white. It's not here yet, it's ordered, but it's on its way. So I'm hoping that it gets here in time that I can maybe cast it on. And if I finish the Moon Settee, I will take this as my project for Hawaii. That's definitely getting done. And then the other thing that I am going to do is a Cozy Classic Raglan. I'm doing the light pattern by Jessie Maed Designs, but we're doing it in this color block style. So Woolen Oaks, I think that's her name, Woolen Oaks and Allie from Explore Knits and Fibers have these like matching color block Cozy Classic Raglan sweaters, and my fiber friends and I just love them. So the two friends that I'm going to Rhinebeck with, we're all knitting color block Cozy Classic Raglans, and we're not all using exactly the same colors. I'm knitting mine in Long Dog yarn, in all of the Hobbits from her one collection, her Lord of the Rings collection that she just launched, which is why I don't have the yarn, because it was a pre-order, it's not here yet. Hopefully it gets here in enough time that I can actually knit this sweater before the end of October. But we all chose like a kind of gold, there is a goldish yellow color. For me, it's the Samwise color, but everybody sort of has a gold, and then all the rest of the colors are different. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, to have matching brunch sweaters. And then the third project that I want to do that's not on my Make 9 in 2023, I think, hopefully, is a Christmas sweater. I really would like to make a like candy cane color work Christmas sweater, both because red and white is definitely my Christmas vibe. Like, I'm a very, like, a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas colors. I want red and green and white, and I'm not here for fuchsia and lime green at Christmas. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas decorations, but I really wanted like a candy cane color work sweater. And so this is the yarn I chose. I had a really hard time finding like a white with red speckles yarn. This is the yarn that I chose. This is the Peppermint Stick colorway by the Sheepyshire in their MCN base. I don't know what pattern I'm gonna use, and honestly, now this is here, I'm worried that it's a little too speckly for a color work pattern. probably later in the year I will have to do a swatch to kind of see and then figure out how to use this as part of the color work. But Christmas sweater, candy cane Christmas sweater. So that is all my 2023 knitting plans. I'm going to Kennedy Space Center next weekend. Maybe I'll wear my salty air tee. If you're coming to Florida and you're looking for things that aren't Disney or Universal to do, I highly recommend the Space Center. It is super fun, and all of the money that it costs, it is a little pricey to go there, but all of the money goes directly like to the Space Center to support all the activities and stuff that they do. They're owned by NASA, but NASA doesn't fund them, or it's odd. So all of the money that you spend there goes back to the Space Center, and it is super fun, and especially if you have kids or kids who are into space stuff, it's awesome, and it's pretty close to the beach. So we're going to Kennedy Space Center. I'm doing the annual pass holder previews for the new Tron ride at Disney this week. I'm very excited about that. I have been avoiding spoilers since they started posting. I know that they already had it in Hong Kong, and it's not really spoilers because the ride's like old in Hong Kong, but it's new here, and so I've been avoiding spoilers. So I'm excited to go on the pass holder preview. Yeah, so those are the exciting things. My Hawaii trip is in 26 days, I think. So that's coming up fast. I'm very excited. We're going for my friend's 40th birthday. We're gonna do all kinds of fun things. We're going surfing, and we're going on a tour of some of the Jurassic Park filming sites. We're going to Pearl Harbor, a couple of different museums, some beautiful hikes, and just some girlfriend time. I'm really looking forward to it. I probably won't have been before my next video, but we'll see how I'm feeling. We're leaving on March 30th, so maybe, it depends. Maybe I won't film until I get back from Hawaii for my March video. We'll see how it goes. But that's all I have for today. I hope you guys had a great February. Let me know what you were working on in February. I always love to hear about what other people are working on, so let me know what you made in February down below in the comment box. I always want to say doobly-doo because I'm a long time John and Hank Green watcher from way back. But let me know in the comment box what you were working on in February, what you're gonna work on in March. Do you have any fun travels coming up as we move into the spring break and summer season? I feel like that's peak travel time for most people. And have a good